also saw that there was a lot of like different, you getting into now a lot of different people having different perspectives on what is what and what is this and what is that. And I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna come out here and I'm just gonna speak from my heart. I'm not gonna polish it up. I'm not gonna make it pretty. I'm gonna really like speak to what I feel like God is speaking to me in this season about what I saw and things like that. One thing I want to say that I took from everything that happened is that, family, we have to understand that our lives here, regardless of what we want to do, what protections we want to create for ourselves, we are not in control. And I think a lot of the hardest parts, or the most challenging parts of seeing some of these things, is that you realize how out of control your life really is. Like, it's not in your hands. God is sovereign. His will be done. And his will doesn't look like your will. His will doesn't make sense to us. His ways are higher. His thoughts are higher. And there was somebody that said to me, and I didn't realize this was a Bible verse, but that you should be more grieved when somebody enters the world than when they exit the world, because this is an evil world. It's filled with darkness. And then you exit the world, and if you have a relationship with God, you have an opportunity to be in a perfect world, a perfect place with him. And I hadn't really conceptualized that until recently. But I think when we see things like that, we want to understand the reason why. We want to grapple with it. We want to make sense of it, because if we make sense of it, then somehow we can protect ourselves from having that same fate, because our instincts are to protect our lives. Our instincts are to control the uncontrollable. We should be trying to control what we can control, but we try to control the uncontrollable. And that was one of the things that I had to really grapple with. Was I do believe God has called me to be more bold. I do believe God has called me to be more open about things that maybe other people won't speak about. But I saw how the enemy was utilizing what happened to make people feel like they can't be open, like to instill fear or create or incite fear, so that you are less likely to be as bold as God may be calling you to be, because this may happen. And I think for me, I want to encourage people today. And this is going to be an emotional episode, because I feel the spirit so strongly and I'm trying to control it. We have a choice when we enter into this world. We either can choose to exist or we can choose to live. Each one has the same fate. I'm not here to give you this pretty button up message. Each one has the same fate. We are all inevitably going to pass on. We are going to transition. Now, where we transition to, that is up to the choices that you decide to make. Whether you decide to go one way or you decide to go the other way. I believe in Jesus. I believe he died on the cross for our sins. He rose again on the third day for us to have the opportunity to live life with him, not only in heaven, but on this earth. He says, I've come that you may have life and you may have life more abundantly. That's what he says. But the enemy has come to steal, kill, and destroy. So I believe that my salvation is to be with him. That's where this end goal is. And we learn that life is but a vapor, that you don't know. You see there's children that pass away. Unfortunately there's children that pass away before they even really have an opportunity to get out of the hospital from being born. There's so many different facets. And I think when I started looking at being with God as the preferred location versus being here in this troubled planet, I think it started making death less final and less scary, because it was like, okay, my God is real and he's with me. And whether I'm making my bed here on earth, or I'm making my bed in an ocean somewhere, or making my bed in hell, or I'm making he says he's in every location with us, no matter where we are. So you're never actually alone. And I think a lot of us, we move in this wanting to control, wanting to understand, wanting to know, watch all these news things and want to know what everybody's doing. And for whatever reason, that abundance of knowledge makes you feel more powerful and more in control. And it doesn't. It actually just reveals how less control, how much less in control you are. That ultimately your life is determined by a sovereign God. Now you can make choices. There's preferred will and permissive will. There's things that you can do to shorten your life here on earth. And then there's things that you can do to extend it or reach purpose, essentially, because we're here for a purpose, on purpose for a purpose. But I've seen more and more that so many of us won't reach purpose because we're so afraid. We allow these things that we see to get in our heads, and we're afraid to do this, we're afraid to do that, we're afraid to go here, we're afraid to do this, we're afraid to leave here, we're afraid to go. And it's like, you know what? The reality is our fate is still the same. And once we get over that, it's like, okay, so what can a mere mortal actually do to me? That I have to now say to myself, you know what? If God is calling me somewhere, if I already know that this is the end result anyway, I might as well live. And I might as well be bold about it. Why sit walking around trying to control well, I'm not going to go here. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to say this. Everybody's so afraid of being canceled. Everybody's so afraid of, like, I don't want people to see me this way. And I don't want to do this. And what if this happens? And what if I go here and I walk in the park and then somebody it's like, you know what? The reality is when it's show day, it's show day. So you might as well live. If God has given you breath in your body, do not allow fear to steal the moments that God has purposed for you to live. I'm seeing so many people that are just walking on eggshells, afraid to tell the truth. Like, there was parts about what I saw last week that were not true. You know, the truth of the matter is, family, there's certain things we can't help, right? There's people that are just not going to like you because they don't like you. There's people that's not going to want to rock with what you're saying and what you're doing because, you know, whatever. Not everybody going to like you, okay? It's just the way of the world, okay? And you got to grow, and I tell my baby this all the time. You got to grow to understand that. They don't have to like you. It's okay. Do you like you? Your mama like you? But who else like you? You know, instead of focusing on everybody liking you. But even as we are adults, there's so many people that are so fixated on people liking them that they would rather not live in their truth to be liked. And that means you've made people's validation an idol. If I'm not walking in purpose, if I'm saying I'm not going to say this, I'm not going to do that, I'm not going to be bold about this because of what people may think about me, then I've made that an idol. Because where I have decided to put my foundation is that if God is calling me to it, I'm going to say it and I'm going to do it. And God is not calling us to be hateful towards other people, period. I'm sorry. I can respect somebody being bold, and I can respect somebody standing heavy or walking heavy for the kingdom and opening themselves up to say, you know, like things that people are afraid to say, because so many people are so afraid of saying things because they're so afraid of people not liking them. It's like, okay, God is who gave me this platform. You didn't give me this platform. God did. You can't cancel me. Only God can do that. If God don't want me to do this anymore, he's not going to let me do this anymore. I've already had people try to cancel me. It is what it is. I might as well, if you're going to cancel me for something I said. Something I actually did say or actually did do versus something I didn't do. You can't control how people perceive whatever God has given you to do. And we're so afraid of that. We're so afraid of not walking the path that everybody wants you to walk or saying what everybody wants you to say. It becomes this world that's creating robots and people that just, we're all so afraid of walking on the line and, oh no, what happens now? What if the world don't like me anymore? So what? They could stop liking you tomorrow. The world is not a stable ground to get your validation from. That they are not your source. And people are treating people's opinion of them as their source. And that's what I was seeing. I'm like, you know what I can respect is somebody being bold about what they believe in, even in the face of threats. I can respect that because there's not many people that's willing to do that. We need more of that, but doing it in the right posture of love, not hate and condemning and inciting hatred. This is like God is number one love. That's what he is. When you see one of the first attributes, he's abounding in perfect love. We can't sit here and say you're this and you're that and you're this and you're that and I don't like this and blah, blah, and we're saying we're walking in the right, correct heart posture. We're not. God is first and foremost. Yes, he is just, but he is love. He's abounding in perfect love. No matter who you are, no matter what the color of your skin is, no matter what your orientation, he is love. He is love.